So today I'm tackling some of the painting, or as part of the series, we're going to be following my journey as I learned to convert my 2006 Toyota Hiace Commuter into a fully off-grid camper van. So today I'm tackling the final piece of the painting of the walls. I was really keen to get a really nice, clean, sort of soft finish on the walls, rather than what you can often get with some of the cheaper wood, where it's quite sort of bumpy and rough, and it doesn't look as professional. So did a bit of research, and what I've ended up doing is you basically, obviously you get your wood, make sure it's all sanded. So I think it was a 160 grit sandpaper for that. Did my 2 coats of primer to make sure that it's all done. Obviously making sure there's no dust and all that sort of stuff. But then I actually read that if you sand between the primer coat and the final coat, you end up with a way cleaner finish, because it basically removes all those little brush stroke marks and all sort of stuff. So anyway, I went and got 240 grit sandpaper and did that. If you haven't used sandpaper before, basically the grit number is just, the higher it is, the finer it is. So when you have sort of 40 grit, you can use it for sort of shaping and really sort of taking off material. If you want to go for a higher grit, it's more for finishing. So you want sort of somewhere between, I guess, like 140, 250, that kind of level for the finishing. And I think you can go way higher if you're doing like car stuff or whatever. I'm going to see if I can show you the difference, because what I've done is I deliberately left a patch on this wall so that I could see the difference for an area that I didn't sand between things. So, you probably can't see it, but here it's super soft. I'll be able to hear from super smooth rather. But then if you come here, it's way rougher. And yeah. So while I finish this last coat, I'm going to pass on to Joe from Ventured Campers, who's going to go through in a bit more detail how to paint the inside of your van, specifically if you're painting the metal areas.
So what I'm going to do now is paintbrush sort of all the exposed bits of metal. I'm going to paint them with the 2-pack white, but instead of spraying it, I'm going to try it with the paintbrush. So I'm not quite sure if this will work or not. It's a bit of an experiment. My thought process being that if I sprayed it, it's a confined area. It's probably really not good to breathe in, even with the gas mask. And it'll just go everywhere. All the small particles will just coat on any surface that'll be in. Whereas with the brush, I can avoid, any bits drying on any places that I don't want. And it's just for the sake of a few brush marks, I can live with that. Anyway, so I'll just paint this fiberglass section up here, all the normal white paneling, and hopefully it works. Let's see. We'll go from here. I just went over everything with a wax and grease remover as well. There's a small bit of like white dust this vinyl paint makes, which is a bit interesting. So just make sure you get rid of all that. Yeah, here we go.
So I've just done the final coat of the paint, and we used, don't know what colour this is, a kind of like milky white type thing, just got it from Bunnings. It's already starting to look really nice. I really recommend, if you're doing this, that you try and mask everything off in advance. So you see, like I did that up here, but I didn't do that down here, and so I'm gonna have to have a bit of a mission to clean all the metal, make sure it's nice and white afterwards. If I was to have done this whole thing again, I would pre-paint everything before it comes in. I'd do all the different coats. I'd just do it in the garden or something like that, or in the workshop. Doing it in the van is not only more difficult from having to have your hands above your head and trying not to get other things dirty, but also I think it's just a bit more time consuming. It would have been way better to do it in advance.